I was pretty hyped when I saw the trailer for 12 minutes at E3. I don't usually favour point-and-click type games, but the time loop premise, the mystery plot, and the star-studded cast really caught my eye. You play as an unnamed married man voiced by James McAvoy, and as you arrive home from work, you are greeted by your loving wife, voiced by Daisy Ridley. You spend some time chatting over dessert or wandering around the oppressively small apartment, until your evening is interrupted by Willem Dafoe posing as a cop, accusing your wife of murdering her father and looking for his pocket watch, for some reason. The loop ends in a variety of ways, but the most common for me involved being stabbed, knocked out, or strangled. So that 12 minutes sure escalated quickly. You can restart the loop prematurely by just leaving the house as well. I did end up doing this on a few occasions because I managed to click on the wrong thing or select the wrong dialogue option, completely ruining what I was trying to achieve. I even managed to piss off my wife so much she just left the apartment, and when I tried to follow her, I also reset the loop. Speaking of my wife, I didn't really get off to the best of starts with her and managed to repeatedly piss her off to the point where she either left or refused to talk to me. One time she told me to fuck off. Another time I also accidentally committed the most heinous crime of starting dessert without her, and another time ruined a special surprise she had for me. I found her particularly frustrating when I was trying to prove to her that we were stuck in a time loop, but it was pretty satisfying when I finally nailed how to convince her. The game does make you work for its revelations, sometimes a little too hard though. So what's with this murderous cop who's determined to get this watch? As you make your way through the loops, you uncover more and more nuggets of information and slowly fill in the gaps. The loop will keep repeating until you uncover enough information to get one of the game's multiple endings. Apparently, you can complete the whole game in only 9 loops, but I've generally seen it advised in other reviews that it takes up to 6 to 8 hours to complete. After getting frustrated within the first 2 hours of gameplay, I was a bit discouraged to read this. It does feel like it can be hard to progress through the game, and I ended up advancing the plot largely through trial and error, along with accidentally managing to have the right conversations at the right time. I went through a phase of not really making any progress at all, so it came as a relief when I finally had new lines of dialogue to listen to. If you're stuck like me though, you can just fast forward through the dialogue to avoid having to repeatedly hear the same lines. It is still irksome having to repeat the same plot points to make a very minor progression to the story. 12 Minutes has a few challenges that are typical of the point-and-click genre too, in that if you don't click on the precise pixel you need, it doesn't work. Not being able to find where to click or getting stuck for long periods of time isn't exactly ideal when you're repeating the same short time period again and again, doomed to the same grisly fates and having to endure that same dessert endless times. Overall, the gameplay and voice acting is great though, as you'd expect from the cast. This did help to alleviate the repetitiveness of the game, and I was genuinely keen to see how the story unfolded with these characters. For me, the premise of the game is a good one, but the delivery just fell a little bit flat. In order for me to play the same portion of time again and again, the game really needed to hook me. Unfortunately though, it didn't. I powered through because I heard the tedium was worth it for the ending. I did enjoy the unfolding mystery and the backstories of all the characters, but I found the pace just a bit too slow, and it's frustrating having to go through the motions for each loop. The game also has multiple endings which boost the replayability, but for me, the tedium involved to get to any conclusions was just not worth it. As expected, some of the endings are better than others. I did make sure I could see all of the endings, and which one you get will I guess ultimately drive how satisfied you feel with the game. You certainly shouldn't be proud of yourself if you end up getting the coward's ending. Much as I didn't overly enjoy the game, I at least wanted to make an effort avoiding the ending like that. If you do get on with the gameplay style, I do think you'll enjoy exploring the multiple endings though. There is definitely something satisfying about seeing all the hours you've put in come together. The various threads are all tied together pretty neatly, and I genuinely didn't see the game's true ending coming. I can see why people have been saying the game is worth it for its conclusion. So the final verdict for me is a complicated one. 12 Minutes has a good narrative, but with a tedious delivery. I think I would have enjoyed it a little more if it was closer to 20 minutes to take the edge off the repetitiveness. Fans of point-and-click games will probably enjoy this. along with fans of slowly unravelling a mystery. This game does seem to be universally well received by critics, and Hideo Kojima even tweeted about how much he loves it. But something just doesn't quite land for me, and I feel like I've managed to miss something that would make me love this game. I wouldn't say this is a bad game by any means, I just don't think it's for me. User reviews do seem pretty polarising too, with people either loving it or absolutely hating it, and not much in between. So with this in mind, I would encourage you to have a read of other reviews before making your mind up. Personally, I think I would have been quite content taking a more passive approach and just watching someone else play this game. 12 Minutes is developed by Luis Antonio, who is a former artist from Rockstar Games and Ubisoft, but ultimately left to pursue indie game development. You can find this game on PC and Xbox and is also available on GamePass. As always, thank you very much for watching, and please do consider subscribing if you enjoy these reviews.